Marcin Majerkiewicz is a man who had a fixation with horror and gore, and today he has been found guilty for the murder of Stuart Everett. Now we can see in the video footage above that despite having killed Stuart, Marcin uses Stuart's bank card to get cash from that machine, and then he goes to the KFC. Before I continue, I just want to give you a content warning. This content isn't going to be pleasant, so if it's going to be too much for you, please do skip this video and catch the next one. So Marcin has been found guilty of killing Stuart with a hammer before dismembering him using a hacksaw at their home. They were housemates in Winton in Salford, and this happened overnight between the 27th and the 28th of March 2024. In this video you can see that he has been captured wheeling a suitcase that they believe had the body parts in, and then he comes back without the suitcase, in which they believe he has disposed of those parts. The court heard how Marcin had flayed off Stuart's face before carrying his body parts on several bus journeys across Salford to dispose of his evidence. And you can see in some of this footage he's walking around, he has a bag in one direction and then he returns without the bag in his hand. Now, police were only alerted to the victim when they found the victim's torso in Curzledale Nature Reserve in Salford on the 4th of April, and this is a case that we followed at the time. Now, officers scoured CCTV footage and they saw a man going into a wooded area of the reservation with a heavy blue bag, and he comes out without that blue bag, and there is footage, as you can see, that they've captured of him walking with bags and then coming back without them. Now, 3 weeks later, a police officer who had been working on this case drove past Marcin and had by chance caught him and realised he looked like the man in the CCTV that they had been looking at. On arresting Marcin and going to the address, they found heavy blood staining in the bedroom, and that is where they believed that the murder had actually taken place. Now, not all of Stuart's remains have been found, and they say that only a third of the victim's body has sadly been recovered, and there will be some parts that they may never find. There were a total of 15 crime scenes that were investigated, and this included one side of the canal which was near where the men lived. Now, the jurors took less than 2 hours to come to a guilty verdict. Now, they don't know why Marcin removed Stuart's face, and they don't have a clear motive for the murders. However, they might think that there are some factors that might have something to do with financial issues, debt, problems paying the bills, and potential relationship between the two of them. As we can see in the footage, he continues to spread the parts of the body across Salford. Obviously this video is not so clear, you can see that blue bag in the footage above there, but obviously the footage of him is really small. But when they would have been looking at that at the police station, they would have been able to have zoomed in and they would have got a much better image of the person that they were looking for. It's quite eerie and sad really when you're watching footage like this, knowing exactly what he was doing and what he had in those bags. Now, Stuart was not married, and his family that he had knew him as Benny, but they didn't know he had died. And this is because Marcin had taken control of Stuart's phone and finances. He sent text messages and he sent a birthday card to relatives to pretend that he was still alive. Stuart lived in his home from 2013. He then sublet his home to 2 Polish men, and one of those was Marcin. And it's really sad to think that he sublet his home to this person and then this happened. Now, as I said, there is no clear motive. It's not clear if there'd been some kind of relationship. It's not clear if money was fully involved in this, although it's reported that Marcin was £60,000 in debt, and the jurors heard that during the trial. But what we can see in the footage that we have watched is that Marcin went completely out of his way to cover his tracks after the horrific murder and dismemberment of Stuart Everett. There is footage of his arrest and the crime scene. I'm going to upload them on my other page so that you can see those on After Dark Investigates. For the record, if you're not following that page, do make sure you are following over. It's just so that I can get the content out to you as soon as possible, as I have got some other content that I do need to post as well. I wanted to bring this to you, so make sure you are following so you don't miss those and the other page, and do make sure you are subbed onto my YouTube channel, After Dark Coffee and Crime. Bye guys.